So, welcome everyone to another 1 versus 1 in the Clopsey 2v2. Marshall casting for you, all on my lonesome. But yes, this planet is Osaka in the Proving Ground system. This is a humongous planet. Oof, lots of mechs here, there and everywhere. But before we get too carried away with size of things, wink, let's have a look at the players. So on the North spawn we have in Team Brown, Lord Zoldukas and Proinegoproxy. Okay, we'll just call him Proxy for heaven's sake. And they're going double bots. Probably double air thereafter. Lots and lots of bots. Wow. And that's fair enough given the size of the planet. You're going to want a lot of bot presence. There's water over here as well. So bots, of course, being submersible will be really good for that. You've got 8 mechs in your base as well. So if you're not going to go for a rush build, you can go for a T2. But of course, as we said in the previous games, you don't want to neglect denying map control even if you are going to rush T2. And there's the T2 air, not T2 air, sorry, 2 air and the S-Scout as well, which is going to do good. Lots of fabricators as well because they know there's a big amount of space on the planet, so they can safely build up a few more fabricators before raiding. Meanwhile, down on the South Pole in blue we have Qzipco and AdmiralGeneral. Pings going off from Brown saying, oh, we need to grab this metal. That's where they're going to go and get try and grab. So let's go and contest it. Let's have a look at what the build queues are here. So we can see there tons of power from Team Brown. Lots of bot factories as we've already established. Team Blue, on the other hand, playing it relatively safe and slow. Obviously going lots of bots and air. That's fair enough. I mean, vehicles is probably something you want to transition to later on in the game, or once you've established your forward positions. You probably don't want to do it too early. Over here, what have we got? We've got a little bit of water. That's okay. That's just super shallow water. I was curious as to what that was for a second, but it's just new terrain and water. There we go. Team Brown, though, sending pelicans with fabricators to go and secure different places. That's a really interesting move there. And similarly from Blue, going for naval. That's also fair enough. Pretty good strategy there because the coastline manages to cover a lot of metal, and of course there's a lot of metal in the sort of lake here as well. If you call it a lake or lagoon, it's up to you, but there's a lot of possibility for eco lockdown there. Meanwhile, what's going on over here? Another pelican dropping a fabricator who doesn't want to build anything just yet. Their eco really just cannot handle it, but he's going to anyway. Okay, fair enough. Going for a bot factory there as well. Team Blue, on the other hand, sending bots out in all different directions to try and lock down different locations. We've got a few docks over there by that 6 metal, which is fair enough. We've got a few docks moving in. Ooh, will Team Brown be able to rescue one of these fabricators early enough? No. Oh, wow. Top level micro there. Yes, they do. Away they go. Interceptors coming in. They need to take out the air fabricators. Very nice swipe away there from Brown, taking those bots away. Of course, don't forget the docks can shoot at air, so pelicans are not immune to the odd docks luck, as it were. And it looks like Galata is shooting at Galata? What? Okay. That seems fair enough, but the naval is complete now for Blue. That gives them the early advantage there. Another ping going off for Brown, seeing a few docks moving around, saying, hey, let's finish these guys off before they get too close. Doing a lovely area patrol for their docks factories as well. And they're actually mixing in some Sparkies. Good old Sparks. Ping, 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 ping. What for, I don't know. But the air game is currently, well, I would say in Blue's hands, but Blue are just more mobile with their air, so we don't want to jump the gun there. Lots of air from Brown are just sat in their base at the moment. Have we got any T2 going up? No, we haven't. We've got lots of eco still continuing to go up, and for Blue as well, the same thing. Still no T2 planned. I think at this point they just want to get map control, which is fair enough. I mean, there's just it's the early game where players are sort of establishing themselves. A bit of raiding going on here, not too much damage. Mex does go down. Fabricator was not killed, I believe, or was it killed? Looks like it was killed there actually, so yeah, 2 fabricators killed. So locking down that expansion well. More pings going off, probably from Brown, saying, "Oh, look, they're in the water. We need to build some naval factories." Have they queued any up? No, they haven't. And the longer they delay that, the harder it is going to be to get into the naval game on that water. So we'll just have to see how they decide to tackle that one. They could go vehicles, but I think they'd probably want to go drifters if they were to go vehicles. Once they've established forward bases. I think we're still at the point in this map where they're trying to establish those forward bases. Brown have tried to establish this high ground here, which is fair enough. They haven't got the defensive lockdown though, and these docks are going to put a lot of pressure on here, and there's really not a lot that Brown can do about it. They don't have any bombers to hand. They're all the way on the other side. They do have a couple of fabricators here that they could rush up a few point defense with. More pings from Brown though, saying, "Oh look, Blue's raiding us. We don't want to do this. Don't want to let them do this," and they are knocking down some mechs. The mechs game and power is relatively even. Well, obviously power's not, but mechs is pretty even, and that just shows that both of these teams are very competent. And in fact, I believe Qzipco and Proinegoproxy are top level Uber players, so you'd expect nothing less. I don't know the rank of AdmiralGeneral. I think he's Platinum. And I don't know about Lord Zoldukas, so we'll just have to see. I expect these are just sort of teammates and friends carrying, but in this 2v2 we haven't got two 1v1s going on. This is a genuine 2v2, I suppose, in every sense of the word, insofar as everything is being shared, insofar as troop movements, eco building, base building, all of that. But the air does come in now from Team Blue, swiping off Team Brown's air units there. A few Galata turrets trying to maintain, well, it wasn't completed, so didn't quite manage to do that. A few desperately trying to get up in different locations though, just locking down a few mechs points, which is fair enough. It's a good idea to do. A few docks over here could do some raiding, but again, they're probably just a bit preoccupied with all the other things that they have to do at the moment. You've got T2 to begin transitioning into vehicles as well. Aha! So they have gone for vehicles before establishing early positions, so that's going to be a sort of latent advantage. Has Blue transitioned to vehicles? No. Are they planning on it? Let's get shift up. No, but they are planning on really dominating in the air game there. Lots and lots of air factories, and they've also got the naval factories in the water over there beginning to produce narwhals, just making sure that Brown's air presence does not have any impact on their naval factories over there. More pings coming off from Brown. It's really annoying just having ping noises everywhere. A few docks though getting taken down by the bomber. Nothing big. We do have a substantial docks force here, but a few bombers did manage to scout it. They decided not to turn around and deal with it though, but bombers are just everywhere, and this is probably why Blue want the air game so very hard, because once you win the air game to the extent that they are aiming to, you can just have an omnipotent presence, and not only that, but it negates the ability of bots to really do any damage. Furthermore, it forces the opponent who doesn't have air superiority to either build a lot of air to counter it, which obviously the team that's not doing the reacting can cater into their long-term strategy, or your vehicle production will have to transition somehow into spinners, and then of course you'll have less, or rather fewer, tanks to spinners. Oh my goodness, the pings, please, ladies and gentlemen. Oh dear. Air coming in there, swiping those from the face there. Actually, let's have a look at the air factories. Lots and lots of vehicle factories from Brown, though. Air is kind of going up. They've got, what, 6, 7, 8 air factories there. And a T2 bots as well. So they're going to get some T2 eco now. Having a look around, we still just have, you know, your general minor skirmishes. Blue beginning to really expand though. They've claimed a lot of the metal on their side. Brown, similarly, they've missed a few, and of course they have been knocked back on a few of their expansions there, which isn't what they want, I suppose. And here we see the vehicles beginning to really push out. More pings going on. Can we please, Blue? Not Blue, sorry, Brown. The Spark's trying to do some work there. One last shot gets off, but you can see how the area damage does kind of work. And I suppose the odd Spark mixed in with docks can really help when you've got bot v bot engagements in these sorts of circumstances. Let's have a look at what Blue are doing. Have they transitioned to T2 yet? Yes, they have got T2 bots up. Yes, they've got T2 eco up. So the T2 game is to both players. I wonder, I suspect we will see either slammers or locusts coming out from those bot factories in terms of the aggressive units. I wonder whether we might actually see some T2 air. I think that's a possibility, especially if you win the air game. There's nothing stopping you from going a few worms. And then that'll really help you, or even some angels, I suppose, with the worms. I don't know, I haven't really ever seen worms in play, but then again I tend to watch mostly 1v1s and you don't really tend to get to that sort of level in 1v1s, especially not in the ranked ladder pool. The bots sort of circumnavigating each other there, interestingly enough. Come on, bombers! In you come, bombers! Bombers! No, bombers! You missed! Go home, you're drunk! Oh dearie me. Gonna lose a few mechs there, maybe. But Brown, once they realise this, yeah, here come the bombers now. They've taken a loss already. Will the Docks be able to deal against this? Take down a couple of bombers, though. Oh, wow, they all go down. Yeah, that's not what you want. Narwhal's beginning to push out, though, in the water. Really blocking Brown back into their base. They might want to go for submarines, because, of course, Narwhals no longer have torpedo opportunity. Not opportunity, sorry, capability. And Orcas do, so... Narwhals have gone solely for anti-air. They do have limited anti-ground attack, but it's not great. They go for pelters as well, and torpedo launchers. That's quite a potent position there, especially if they can get some walls up. That'll be nasty. Nasty, nasty to deal with. Really not very nice at all. But the submarines there, putting in their work, taking down those narwhals, doing what they do, really. This bot force here from Blue, though, still present. Brown are probably going to want to try and deal with this with their air, but they don't really have the bombers at this point. I think they just want to tackle the air game from Blue at this point, but they can't really do that with their air production currently. Sparks and bots here getting intercepted by some bombers. That's going to come to naught, and same here with the tank army. They're just not pushing in substantial enough forces. When you've got a planet this big, and it's this sort of time in the game, sort of 13 minutes into the game, you can't really expect to get very far with tiny groups like this. Unless they are really fast, like locusts or something, or if your opponent's attention is elsewhere. Especially with vehicles, they're so slow, but otherwise you're just not going to get anywhere. Slammers coming out from the T2 bots, though, for the blue team. Just fair enough, because of course they can fire underwater. They still have quite a rapid movement speed there, so they will really help against the bot forces of Brown here. Although they have managed to re-establish this this high ground, so it'll be interesting from there to see if they try and claim all of this mechs. They are stalling a little bit on metal, but they're doing fine for power at this point. But that's just because the bases are just so far apart, and you know, there was so much mechs in your base that you could just get the T2 up. And at this point, it's probably going to be late game strategies that are really going to win this game out. You're not going to have any middle game cheese or anything like that, I suspect. I mean, it's certainly the air game from Blue is really looking threatening for Brown. But similarly, Brown are managing to build up the air factories that they're going to need to counter that air presence. I don't know what that was. What was that? Oh well. Where was I? Hashtag distraction. Oh yes, the air game from Blue, yes, and Brown not managing just yet to have the capability to deal with it. Brown have got a lot of factories though, but I fear they've gone more for the vehicles. They are really beginning to push up on the air production though. They've got a lot of air factories over here and a lot down here, so I might have to take that back, but wow, that was really distracting interruption, my apologies. But lots of T2 bot factories going up from Blue. This is interesting because they could now really get up a big army of slammers or locusts in next to no time. And as a result, that could really press in. Similarly with Team Brown, although they're going for T2 vehicles now, possibly some Manhattan escorts? I mean, it's got a long transition, but if they can get up a teleporter or manage to successfully escort a Manhattan, that could do a lot of damage. Alternatively, of course, you have the storms, which will really help in defending against the air. So many pings just saying, there's all the air, there's all the air, there's all the air. We must get here, we must get here, we must get here. And there you have it, the Three Musketeers. Oy. Anyway, moving on from terrible Word jokes. At this point, it still seems as though neither team are really committing to any lane offensive. I say lane because there are just so many routes of attack here, but they're not really lanes. But yeah, they're just sort of generally defending their areas, not really doing too much else. But oh my word, that's a lot of air troops now from Brown. Diving in, are they going to be able to take on... Oh, they're a little bit behind, but I think this will turn the air game back into Brown's favour there. In the interceptors they come, taking out a few bombers as well. Blue saying, oh my goodness, we can't deal with that, let's run away. They appeared out of nowhere, and now we can deal with it. Interceptor war! Interceptor war! Meanwhile, docks are coming in, taking out a bit of T2 mechs there, and a docks fight on the distance over there. But, oh wow. So we got docks fighting, we got interceptors... intercepting. Over there in the distance, let's pop over here and see. I think Brown have that, although actually no, I think that's a mutually assured destruction. Oh wow. I think towards the end there, Brown really didn't micro their air very well and began to chase, and that's not what you want to do when you can't really determine who's going to win an air game like that. What you want to do is you want to bring your units back and micro them successfully, and a good air micro is sort of rolling them around in sort of circles so that you make sure every air unit fires, but that they're not, the ones at the front are not getting killed because they're already moving around to the back, and the ones in the middle are getting shot at that point. So you minimise your losses while maximising your amount of damage dealt. Meanwhile though, let's have a look at what's going on. What are they doing from that T2 vehicle factory? I'm interested. Levelers. Levelers. Have we got any storms? I really do think storms are going to be good. And colonels as well. I have seen a few 1v1s where colonel, like 5 or 6 colonels have really pushed into bases really, really hard. They have good anti-air, and if they're escorted with anti-air, then they can just put up forward bases. They're really powerful and potent if they can do that. Meanwhile, T2 Navy going up. We could see some Kaijus coming out of this. Those are particularly powerful. Or Typhoons, actually, because they will probably have the range from this inlet here to do a fair bit of damage to these factories. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Typhoons still have the little niggle where you can target wreckage from across the map, and it will launch the squalls. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's still the case. Brown beginning to make moves though, still not really committing, but they are beginning to make those larger group offensives here. We've got a group of slammers, but they will be intercepted by not only air over there possibly, but also 2 groups here of slammers and vehicles and all sorts. So it looks as though Brown could make a dent, but it's going to be tricky. They're going to need the air support. I mean, that docks blob over there got gobbled up, but in come the air this time again from Blue. They have a few bombers in there, but the interceptors from Brown are not being microed very well. They're just sort of left there on their own devices. In they go, gobble, 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 gobble. The bombers, though, meanwhile, the interceptors are fighting. The bombers are like, we're not needed over there. We'll just do what we do best and do some bombing. Well, the interceptors, of course, were too busy having their scrap. That the bombers managed to get off their payload. They did manage to kill the slammers, but they significantly weakened them. But the slammers now in the base, dealing some damage to some factories. And every little helps, of course. It may not do significant damage, but every little does help. And bot factory, air factory have gone down now. Let's have a look in picture-in-picture. Let's turn off the reverse planet for a second to see if Blue are making similar pushes elsewhere. They're beginning to form one up over there, while Brown were repelled on this location. Aha! The high ground is being taken back by Blue. That's quite a few mechs there that Brown are going to lose. They are ahead in mechs and they're stalling a little bit, but I mean they're really plopping up the T2 here, there and everywhere at this point. And if they can hold positions like this, then that will really be good for them. Bombers just passing those bot fabricators. Will they find them? Yeah, they do. Easy. Easy peasy. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a long game, isn't it? I'm predicting 35 minutes. What do other people think? And yes, here is the Colonel push! That forward base, he needs to get up some defence, otherwise he's just going to fall by the wayside to these slammers here that are just on the horizon. He doesn't want that, but they are going in a different direction. Do blue teams see the brown blob? No, they don't. They don't have radar coverage, but the interceptors, though... Aha! There's the colonel. Pop, pop, pop. Taking out the air. Will those bots be rerouted? I think they might be. They need to be. Ping's going up from brown saying, oi, fortify yourself in there. Keep that colonel alive. There's a lot of dudes. There is a lot of dudes right outside. You know, we do have a bit of a push coming in from blue. Slammers on this end versus tanks. That's fair game, I think, at this point. And of course, they can always just bypass the tanks, really. They don't need to engage this to keep their slammers alive. And of course, that's the thing. You don't need to engage armies. And ideally, on maps this large, you don't necessarily want to engage armies. It depends on what you want to do. Do you want to really press in and do a lot of damage to factories like this? If so, you want to circumvent armies. Alternatively, if you want to prepare the way for a later offensive that is really a follow-up attack, then yeah, you want to kill an army. But that's only if you're sure that you can get into a base. Otherwise, by the time the follow-up force gets there, the likelihood is that defensive force will have already materialized, especially on planets this big. But that colonel is still there! Oh dear. I mean, yeah, that was a lot of factories lost for Brown, but the colonel... Can Brown stop? Oh, it was blue ping that time. Wow. Something new for the books, but slammers everywhere. And T2 vehicles coming in as well. We do have some storms. Yeah, I wanted to see storms in play for so very long. And Leveler's just going to push out, and those storms are really going to help them do that. And the colonel there as well is just like, you know what, I'm going to sit in here, do whatever I want to do. But, having said that, looking in the army tab, I mean, Brown do have a lot more units, but I think they're predominantly interceptors. And of course, interceptors are not going to help against vehicles. And kaijus! We have kaijus. Of course, they can go on land. They do not have to stay on water, and they have good range and good damage as well. And a reasonably good fire rate. I mean, look at that. Brown are going to want to deal with that. But having just lost a whole bunch of their air factories and predominantly interceptors, they don't have any bombers. And they've got forces to deal with on a number of different fronts here. Not only have they got this force coming in here, which is desperately trying to be defended against, but I don't think it's really going to materialise very well, so they're going to lose a few bot factories here. And this is exactly what I mean, circumventing an army, saying, you know what, we see you chasing us, we see you wanting to defend, but you know what, we want to kill off some of your factories, so we don't give a damn. And yeah, that's a thing, but they slowed down there. Did get into the range of the vehicles. Oh no! Oh, okay, that's all right. I was worried there for a second that we'd lost connection or something. Blue Hawks, interesting. But you see there the range of the kaiju is really nice. An orbital? Are you sure? Are you sure? I mean, it's fair, but don't forget that orbital is visible by anyone and everyone the moment you have an orbital unit in the sky. Not only that, but I fail to see how Orbital will really help them at this point. They want to get bombers. They want to make sure they have their SBRD. Oh, the interceptors. Ooh, that's not looking nice. Blue, wow. I'm just going to zoom out and watch the icons disappear, because going in, I think, would just not look very nice. With the way that we're beginning to flag a little bit with the performance. But, aha! I called it T2 Air. Worms. I can see it happening now. Because now, of course, Blue realise they have pushed Brown back onto, by and large, obviously, back into their base, and Brown have lost most of their ground forces, actually, and they're all split up in different locations. This colonel, though, it's fantastic. Come a few bombers to snipe the colonel, maybe? No, they're going to go over the storm. We're going to see the storm in action, please! Yes! 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 Yes, it's so good! Bomber's like, no to that, thanks. Instead, we're going to fly over some flak. I'm happy with that. So while Blue are pushing into Brown's forces, who are running out of ground troops predominantly, Brown have got really annoying enclaves on Blue's front door. And actually, Brown have managed to get T2 Navy up in this little lagoon over here. And they've got kaijus of their own, which are going to press out here. They don't want to go into the range of the turrets just yet, so they're going to take unnecessary damage there. But, oh... This is an interesting give and take game, and I... Bush class? You up? Come on now. I mean, Locusts do it best, and I played a funny game with Mott, actually, where we just pushed a kernel around a metal planet several times in the space of a couple of minutes, but... I mean, this is the thing with not having air support with the kaijus, because, yeah, you can take them on land, but if you don't have the air support, bombers will just make such short work of them, and it's really going to be... Wow, lots of T2A without me noticing. Whoops. Or did that just all spring up in a split second because of lots of T2? Yeah, I think that just split up in a split second. So yeah, they've transitioned into Phoenix, which are your T2 interceptors, which will do alright against this interceptor horde from Brown. Oh, the air game really is a thing that they are contesting at this point. Oh dear. Just, what is this? What sort of micro is this, ladies and gentlemen? What is this? Can someone explain? Fantastic. Here we go with the Brown. Are you going to do the rolling micro? Oh wow, enemy commander? What have I missed? Where is it? Enemy in critical condition? Where? What? Why? Who? What? Oh. Oh snap! 25, that looked like just a slammer horde got through. Oh yeah, because I did see earlier there were a few slammers moving up there, but I assumed they would be intercepted. Apparently they were not. And that did a lot of damage to that Brown commander, though. Ping's going off from blue saying, hey look, there's a back door over there. Or rather, that's a proxy base, we need to deal with that. That's quite a hefty proxy base, actually. You see what a kernel can do? I really don't know which way to call this game right now, because I thought Brown were on the back foot for a second, but just this kernel base over here is really powerful. 27 minutes. Well, have we got a sweepstake on how long this game is going to last for? Have we got any storms? Yes, we do! Oh, it was taken down, though. Was that a sniper bot that did that? That was a shame. I wanted that storm to do some work. Meanwhile, are we getting any worms out from the T2A yet? I really fancy seeing some worms. Worms in play. Another lull in the action, as you do. How's that orbital working out for you, Brown, or did you give up? Oh, you gave up on it, okay. Or it was destroyed, one of the two. I made a mistake. Ah, there we go, yes. Proxies, proxy-based, proxception, suspense, yes. Yeah, Titans. Titans would actually be really good in this instance. Really, really good. Because it would force the other player defending to deal with it, which would mean they would have to rally all their troops to it. Meanwhile, you could organise another troop push on the other side of the planet to push in while you have the massive troop defense displacement. The thing is, with Titans, you need to support them with air, especially the Atlas. I mean, the Ares can take a lot of hits, but you just have to support it with air. And I think possibly the Ares might be the better choice here, actually, because it's more durable. It hovers, so it can go over any of this water stuff and deal with all the T2 naval shenanigans. And it moves at a speed that storms can keep up and the air can keep up. But the bombers, though... Bomber stockpiling. Could we be attempting to see a sneaky bomber snipe cheese? It's possible, but... the air game seems to be the focus for all the players. Yeah, there you see the rolling attempts from both players. Oh my word. This is dragging on a little bit, guys. Come on now. In fact, I'm surprised we haven't seen some latent nukes going up. Actually like to see some, but... Oh, Leviathans I see on the picture-in-picture. Let's go and have a look at those, because... Oh dear. Micro your air, Brown. Come on now. Yeah, Brown won that engagement. But yes, Leviathan's over here. They're actually going to be really good at dealing with the forces that are trying to push through here because they have such long range and a fairly good area of attack. I mean, look at that. That it's just going to lock down these coastlines. And this is what I meant by getting up to T2 naval and locking down the coastlines, because it means this pathway here for Brown, they can't go there now. And this Leviathan here is in a really critical position because not only does it lay siege to metal, but it also lays siege to any forces that are trying to defend, that try to push out in order to defend. Which just forces Brown further and further back into their base. Brown again trying to get into the orbital. Air coming in, getting a scout. They could bump into those bombers there, and they really don't want to do that. Rather, Brown don't want them to do that. The bomber's getting microed away, very nice. Oh, that was close. Still no Titans. And the orbital fabricator. Hello. The pings, please. Blue saying, hey, there's a commander. Fire some big missiles at it or something. Are they going for nukes yet? Answer to that is no, but they have got air. They're getting some gunships though, not worms, gunships. Interesting. But oh, the kaijus though! They're in the base! T2 air factories are in trouble. That is quite a force of kaijus. Gunships just trying to do some work, but there are just too many interceptors there for them to really push out and deal with this. Oh. Yeah, just taking a few pot shots before the interceptors come back in. Oh, down go the Kestrels. Not nice. Meanwhile, Blue's interceptor's like, no, we're not fussed. We're not fussed with that. Who cares? We're going to build a combat fab army. Because why not? They're probably going to go and reclaim all the wreckages, get a lot of metal. Go to the economy tab there, we can see they're all fine. But this push here from kaijus with air support is going to be important. But they need more air support. Brown do not have the adequate air support to deal with this. Kaijus, if kept at range, will be able to deal with the ground forces there with ease. But 4 T2 air factories, that's quite a hit. And the orbital's up as well. I'm going for an orbital factory. Fair enough. We could probably see some Omegas coming out of that. That would be cool. I doubt we'll see some SXX, because Omegas will probably be more useful, to be honest. I don't know, it depends. But Blue have not yet put up any umbrellas. They're probably too busy trying to deal with these kaijus. And the Colonel bases! Oh, double Colonel push! It's happening! Oh my goodness. Oh, hello. Proxy T2 bots. Locusts, hello. Hello. Hello, hello. Oh, I can't wait to see those locusts chew through some bases. But in come the air! They've seen it on the radar. They are not going to let that stand, but they are going to reveal their bomber presence as a result of this. Lots of fabricators. The bombers are probably going to deviate from the factory to try and deal with those fabricators before they get the flak up. Quick, 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 quick! The flak is going up very, very fast indeed, and if they don't deal with it, there's a second one going up as well. I think it was complete. No, not quite. Ah! Yeah, a flak did go up, and the bomber force evaporates. Wow, clutch! But unfortunately, the docks are in there to deal with that. But that was a lot of units invested to deal with that Proxy T2. I think that was an overall win for Blue there. They lost a lot of fabricators, but they completely destroyed the air presence from Brown. But looking at the unit tab there, 1,300, almost 3 times the units of Blue there. I think at this point maybe Brown just need to conglomerate all their forces and just push. Oh, the kaijus! Ugh! I mean, come on now. Radar coming out from Brown, that's fair enough. Just want to get some intel. Of course, that's a lot of something people tend to neglect going into this sort of stage of game is maintaining intel. Trying desperately to defend against this with a few levers on a bit of high ground, but, you know. And try their hardest. This game will be known as the Game of Pings. Still no Titans? It would be nice to see some Titans. You are right, chat. Very nice to see Titans, but Actually, surveying it from a distance, it looks as though blue are really getting pushed back in. Brown are saying, you know what, you can have your T2 naval in that lake there, in the ring lake. We're just going to push you and build some proxy bases and just push in. And I think, actually, this force here, and this just continued proxy base that hasn't been able to be destroyed, and these colonels are really just paying off for Brown now at this point. And I think blue are going to have a hard time dealing with this. They don't have the forces, or if they do, they can deal with it, but then not the sustain that Brown are going to have. More pings coming. Are you serious? I just noticing a few over there, but that's fair enough. Kaiju's pushing in from this side as well, but I think this is going to be the force that ends it, or at least makes blue realise that perhaps this is the end of the road. Mines attempted to get up, but it just wasn't quite happening. We do have storms in the army, I believe. Or is it just spinners? No, it's just spinners. Oh no, we do have storms at the back. You see how the air just evaporated from blue? That's how good storms are. That's how good they are. Especially if you have, you know, you only need 4 or so in an army if your opponent has massive air superiority like that, and it just pushes in like crazy. All you want in a mobile AA with the storms right there. I mean, the only other thing you want is some turbocharge so they move a little bit faster, but I mean, I'm pretty happy with how storms are. I mean that you can't just rely on air if someone else is going vehicles, but it does mean you do have to get to storms in the first instance. Kaiju's pushing in from the other side. They're going to lay siege to the T2 Eco at this point, and that's going to be a danger for blue because of course at that point they won't be able to keep up with their production, although Brown's stalling a little bit. Yeah, blue just haven't got the ability to push out at this point. They've got a bunch of Kaijus and Leviathans, but they just can't. They can't impact in Brown's base. Oh my god, the interceptors. Okay, this army tab, probably about 1,000 of those units are interceptors. What is going on here? Come on now. Kaiju's still trying to make a play there. They have managed to take down a few P-gens. Well, a few, by which I mean 2 or 3. I can smell pizza. I don't see pizza. Huh. I don't know, I might have some late pizza anyway. I hope this isn't the only game still running, because that would provide me with the ability to go and grab that, but think of the devil. But just the air there. But yeah, the air game there from Brown. Sorry about that, I just had to mute my mic for a second while I talked with my dad, but not too much of an issue there. We can see the colonels! The colonels! This is the colonel push that I was talking about earlier. Just a nuisance. Utter nuisance. Because just colonel turret creeping. Ultimate late game cheese. Ultimate late game cheese. What else have Brown have got up their sleeve? I don't know. They just got lots of docks air patrolling here just for show. And a nuke. A nuke almost up. So let's... Ooh, hello. GG picture in picture. Right, we'll monitor that nuke. But I suspect blue may call GG before that nuke's ready, because blue don't really have anything up their sleeve at this point that I can see. They have T2 naval, but... Ooh. I don't think it's going to be able to push in because they don't have the air presence to support the Kaijus. Brown can just say, okay, look, let's just transition all our air factories into bombers, but they aren't doing that. They are not doing that. What have we got being built over there? We've got some Artemis being built. Very nice. Yeah. Oh no, that's an SXX. I need to learn the icons there better. Pings, pings, pings! Stop pinging and get on with some attacking, damn it. This game is running on. But the colonels, they just take such a beating, and they're just so good. I hope you don't mind if I start nomming on pizza while we continue to try and survive this game. Another proxy. Are you serious? Brown, come on now. I mean, the nuke's almost finished, so it won't be too long before we see that start to pay off. We've got the SXX coming out as well. The Umbrella's desperately trying to go up in a number of locations just to save these commanders. This one here from Blue on low health, and this force here from Brown is going to push in, and Blue just don't have the army to deal with this now. They've got less than a third of the forces of Brown. Come on, where's the nuke? Launch the nuke! Find the commander, launch the nuke! Find the commander, launch the nuke! Right here, please. Right there. Was that a ping saying launch the nuke there? No, it won't have been. Here's the scout for the planes to find out where they want to find the nuke. They see a bunch of flak. They're going to circumnavigate it. Come on, this must be the nuke scout. I mean, no one else would... There's the injured commander. There's the nuke. Have they found the other commander? Yep. And there's the ping. Fire the nuke there, please, monsieur, if you do not mind. Any time today. And there it goes, nukes away. I think this commander's home and dry.
Hey, wake up.
This commander possibly not though. Oh my god, TeamSpeak. I thought I muted you, damn it. Don't poke me when I'm casting. But in comes the nuke. Where is it? Which way has it gone round? Here it comes. Let's close picture in picture. Pop into dynamic cam. Have a look at what's going on. Where's the nuke? Here it comes. Let's actually follow it. We can follow it with this sim speed. Here we go. Why not? Here it goes. Pinged around the power. Commander's legging it. I think they know what's up. There's the nuke. Hitting all of the power. The commanders do get away scot-free. But I think we'll probably see the GG's called pretty soon now. Blue's base is gone. Have they been called already? Yeah. Yeah, they have been. Qzipco calling GG in there. GG well played, says Admiral. Really long and good game. Slugging fest in the air game, but wow, a lot of strategies seen there. Where's the shenanigans? Orange launched another nuke. Orange, brown launched another nuke. Blue counter nukes. And we'll actually get a commander snipe. Are you kidding me? Come on. Oh, yeah. You've called GG. Why is the game still going on? What is this? Yeah, Brown know what's up now. They're putting up anti-nukes, but come on. What do I do? Pro alert, help me. Oh my god. Yeah, Killer Kiwi's at it. Resident Sleeper. Qzipco said GG and Admiral also did. I will be casting the rest of this tournament, yes. Darkness909 vaguely do remember you, yeah. Yeah, and Eladare as well. Let's say GG and run our commanders away. Proxy also saying, why call GG if you plan on fighting? What is this? But oh my goodness, the air now. Over the Atlas, we can see just how powerful the Atlas can be. Really making a play here. pushing through all of those units, and there are no bombers left in the Air Force. That is really significant because it means the Atlas cannot be bombed. The Atlas is just going to continue to press into Ptar's base here, and it's barely lost any of its health, and all defensive units from Ptar are on the other side of the map, and most of the units coming out of his factories are spinners. He needs to amend his build queues very, very quickly indeed. The commander very, very close to the Atlas there. If we go to dynamic camera mode and pop down, you can see just how close it is. Taking damage there from the commander, a few more hits, and this will go to Pieman. Indeed it does. The Atlas claims it. Very nice game.